Okay, this is the Level Check. Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer coming to you from the streaming center at Fox 19 Now with your 7:15 live weather show. Hopefully, you're going to get the information you need from this and any questions you have answered also. And once again, as soon as all the connections are made, this will be available on Roku TV, on Apple TV if you've set your little black box up for that. It's available on the Fox 19 Now First Alert News app and Weather app. It's also available on our website, Facebook, and YouTube. And in the near future, we will be also able to take comments from those of you watching it on YouTube. Okay, 7:14 according to my clock. We will be with you in less than a minute, and got a lot of nice weather ahead of us, so it's kind of an easy night to talk about because there's not a lot of questions about when the rain's going to get here and that. But there's also just some really, really nice conditions that'll last through the weekend. Now, of course, nice depends upon what you need, and if you need the rainfall on your crops or your gardens, dry and warm is not necessarily nice. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer coming to you from the streaming center here at Fox 19 Now. It's been a beautiful day for outdoor activities. Not such a nice day if you're one of the areas that's in need of rainfall, which is most of the tri-state. And overall, what we're looking at is this. This is the north tower of the Roebling Suspension Bridge. So it's the Ohio side of the river. And if you know about the geography here, the Ohio River actually runs and flows from northeast to southwest in front of downtown Cincinnati. And so that would make us looking almost southwest, and that would give you a northerly to northwesterly wind on the American flag. And you can see the Ohio flag down there too. So nice view. Always like to look at the American flag. My dad, when he was alive, used to love to take pictures of American flags in different situations. And there you see it right there on top of that historic bridge. And we are in, and notice the camera's also bouncing around a little bit, so it's a breezy evening out there. Those breezes out of the north bringing that less humid air from Canada, and we've got some really nice weather ahead. So here is the satellite radar loop, nothing on radar. Now look at those little dots. Okay, those little dots are the individual puffy cumulus clouds, and they are basically dissipating. What happens with these cumulus clouds, we call them fair weather cumulus, or you can think of them as kind of a flat bottom cotton ball that's floating across the sky. And the sun heats the ground during the day. That the ground absorbs the solar radiation. It then in turn heats the air, and the air in spots gets warmed enough so that it's less dense in that particular area, and you get rising thermals. And you get the clouds developing. Those little clouds there form on the top of the thermals. Now, the reason that they become visible is because as that air rises, it cools, it cools, it cools, it cools. Eventually, it cools to the point where the relative humidity is 100%, and it continues to rise. And that flat bottom is the level at which that 100% relative humidity was reached. We call it the condensation level, and you see the cloud above that. Okay, and that's what you're seeing. When the sun goes down or gets lower in the sky, you get past peak heating. You've got less heat at the surface. The thermals either dissipate or slow down, and the clouds literally just fall apart and evaporate. So we're in for a clear night. Okay, then take a look at the wide view here, and what you see is a large area without much going on, from essentially the high plains down to the deep south, up to the Appalachian Mountains, up into Canada. This entire area is one big weather system, and what I forgot to do is I forgot to throw in the next couple graphics. Let me look at them. Let me look at what I've got going on here again. All right, and so we'll go back to the one we just saw, and then we'll continue. Again, I'll give you this full screen, and you can see that large area where there's just not much going on. That is a big dry air mass from Canada. And we can put that air mass on there, and you can see the color coding in the background is the dew point temperatures. And again, we always use that kind of hot pink for hot and steamy weather. So you can see the hot pink is where the high dew points are. That's that really steamy weather. The high heat index values, and that extends from, well, the coast of New Jersey here, all the way down across the deep south through most of Tennessee, the southern half of Arkansas still in it, a little bit of Oklahoma, and then the other shades are the nicer air that we are under right now. And you can see the way a high pressure system works. It circulates in the northern hemisphere clockwise, and so you have northerly winds to the east of the high, and that brings that drier air from Canada in here. The high pressure system is going to work its way eastward, and eventually what happens is the winds on we call it the back side of it, but to the west of the center of the high pressure system, out of the south. And when this high pressure system's over here, those southerly winds will bring this very warm, moist, sticky air back into the tri-state. And I don't think that happens. We don't get really humid again. And it's going to be a little bit humid on late Sunday and a little bit humid early Monday, but it's going to be really humid by Monday evening. And I'll show you our forecast on that. So that's it. This is a nice high pressure system, or we call it an air mass, from Canada. Since it came from the plains of Canada, it doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with. In other words, if you get an air mass that comes out of the Gulf of Mexico, it sits over that big warm body of water. It evaporates a lot of that moisture. It brings it northward with it. Well, this one is coming from the plains of Canada, and there are a few big lakes up there, and Great Slave Lake and all that. But basically, it's forming over land. It doesn't have as much moisture with it, and we get the benefits when that air comes out of Canada. It brings the characteristics of its source region with it, and so it arrives here with much lower humidity and suppresses that sticky stuff to the south. Eventually, this same bringer of good weather will bring us the humidity back as the southerly winds begin to transport that heat and humidity back to the north as that moves to the east. So let's take a little closer look at this. And you can see there's the high pressure system right there. You can see most of Kentucky's out of the pink. A good portion of Tennessee is. And if we scoot the map over a little bit, you can see what's going to happen. Okay, the high pressure system centered here near the Quad Cities, Moline, Bettendorf, and I don't remember the other two right now, but the southerly winds will eventually just pull this stuff right back up our way, and we'll look in the 7-day forecast at when that is going to happen. Temperatures as of 7 p.m. in the 70s, a couple spots like Lunken Airport, Maysville, and Ashland, and Portsmouth in the low 80s. But even the low 80s feel good today because the humidity is lower. Now watch what happens here, okay, and you'll see what's going to happen, and I'll kind of guide you through this. Okay, so the nice dry air right over there in the greens and the blues. As we continue to watch it, we are into Friday now. Greens and blues still over a good portion of the tri-state. Here's that real sticky stuff down in the deep south. Okay, I should have set this up better so I could control it better. Okay, so now you look. Now you see we are into Sunday at 6:50 p.m. The real sticky stuff has made it back into southern Kentucky because the high pressure system's over here and the southerly winds are starting to bring that stuff back. So that is Sunday at 6:50 p.m. I'll make it full screen from here on out. And watch as we head into Monday and Tuesday. There you see that, that bright band, which is the 70-degree dew points, flirting with the tri-state once again, and it'll be that way for the remainder of the week. So the sun sets this evening at 9:02, 78 right now, dropping to 67 with a clear sky by 11 p.m. Here's what happens as you head out. If you're out till midnight tonight, you're going to see upper 50s in some spots. So if you're up in, see the Batesville, the Liberty, Brookville, Connorsville area, you're definitely going to see some upper 50s by midnight. And some of the valleys up there may be even a little bit cooler than the upper 50s, may drop into 53 or 54 degree range. Everybody else in the 60s except parts of Lewis County, which will still by midnight be in the 70s. By 7 a.m., many areas, if not most, will be in the 50s. The areas to the south, the farthest southern parts of our viewing area, in the low 60s. And again, a lot of the valley areas. For example, we have 63 there in West Union. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Ohio Brush Creek Valley drop into the 54 degree range or so. Lebanon, 58, but up in Morrow, in the Little Miami River Valley there, which is a pretty steep, narrow valley, more than likely about 51 or 2 for the low temperature. And the same thing goes for other areas around the tri-state. Okay, sunrise tomorrow, 627, 57 the overnight low officially, but many areas cooler. 82 the high tomorrow, but with that nice humidity, it will be a nice day. Climate Prediction Center's new forecast just out at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Excuse me for a second. So we are right on the edge of cooler than normal. That's consistent with the past 10 days or so. The cooler than normal area kind of moves a little bit south and shrinks, and so we go to just above normal by the 1st of August. Precipitation-wise, slightly wetter than normal. And then through the 1st, still slightly wetter than normal. So we are talking about near slightly below to slightly warmer than normal weather and slightly wetter than normal right on through basically the 1st of August. So no big hope that we're going to have a real wet pattern and really break the droughty conditions, but definitely have that chance of getting a little bit more rain. This is a bee that I found in our side yard one day. I was shooting a picture of it, and one of the things when you try to photograph bees that are flying, you realize that their wings are beating so fast it's almost impossible to freeze the motion unless you have $150,000 equipment. And the whole body is shaking because of that, but I was able to get the eye right there. I focused on that, and that came out in pretty good detail too. So I'm pretty happy with that photograph. I like to photograph bees. Very important to agriculture. So now here's your 7-day forecast. Look for a low tonight of 57, a high of 82. Now that low of 57, that's just kind of what the airport will hit, the international airport, the official temperature. There will be spots in some of those valleys, like I mentioned, the Little Miami River Valley in Morrow, the Whitewater Valley up in the Brookville area. Any of the steep, narrow little valleys around the tri-state could easily make it down into the low 50s overnight. I can't even rule out 1 or 2 spots hitting for a short time the upper 40s, but mostly the valleys will hit the lower 50s. Okay, and the decent humidity will continue Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday it increases. So let's take a look at this. First of all, here are the dew points that are forecast for Friday and Saturday. And you can see it's in the 50s until we get to like 8 p.m. on Saturday. So when you get to 60 degrees on that dew point, that's when most people just begin to feel it, okay? And this is something that has been researched, and the answers usually come out the same. That when you have dew points in the 50s, it's comfortable. When it hits 60, most people begin to say, you know, it kind of feels humid, but not really bad. And so we're starting to get back to the point where people begin to perceive it's getting humid. But Friday and Saturday look spectacular to be outside. Okay, so then I did the same thing for Sunday and Monday. Got a graph for Sunday and Monday, and let me show you that full screen, then I'll take it up. You can see the dew points Sunday stay in the 50s. They actually get a little drier as we go through the day, but that's kind of normal. Although there's one spot there at 60 degrees, and then we've got dew points reaching 70 by Monday at 6 p.m., so Monday is going to be one of those steamy days. Now let me show you a couple things going on here. Notice that the dew point actually rises until about noon on Sunday, and then it falls off, okay? And you might wonder, well, why does that happen? Why is it going up, then it falls off? Well, what happens is this is about the time between noon and 2 p.m. that we hit something that meteorologists call the convective temperature. And all that is that the heating of the ground is enough for the soil to warm the air so it can begin to rise, okay? And once we hit the convective temperature, what happens is you've got a lot of humidity. Remember, the humidity, the source of the humidity for the most part is the soil and the ground. So you've got a lot of humidity at ground level. Then as the sun heats the ground, the air next to the ground then is heated by that. And eventually you get enough heating that it begins to rise as a thermal. And so the dew point's around 60, but as soon as that air begins to rise, and remember, the source of most of the moisture is the soil and the grass itself. So as the air begins to rise, it carries that moisture with it, and then all the air can't rise. So where the air's rising here, it's got to come back down, and usually when it's coming back down from around that thermal, it's drier, and so you actually get the dew points falling off in the afternoon. Okay, so this is typical of what happens on a sunny day when the ground is heated. The moisture that's concentrated near the surface is transported upward, and the air that replaces that air that rose comes from above and brings somewhat drier air down. So that's pretty typical. And then this is just typical of when the winds become southerly and around a high pressure system. So Sunday morning you'll wake up and say, hey, it's kind of humid out here. And then by the time we get to Sunday evening, you're going to say, oh my gosh, it's back to that sticky, horrible stuff once again. So there you see it. The humidity creeping back into the tri-state. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all will be warm and humid. No 90s in the forecast, but morning lows in the 60s, afternoon highs in the upper 60s or in the 80s, with dew point temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s, and that's enough to set off the chance for a shower or a thunderstorm every once in a while. Okay, while I take another quick drink. Sorry, my throat's really dry today. So here's beyond the 7-day forecast. It goes out to the 1st of August. Again, it looks, we don't see any 90s. We do make it up to 91 by the 1st of August. But you can see that there's a shower chance each and every day. The high temperatures not far from normal, a little bit below to a little bit above, and the humidity high enough to set off a few hit and miss pop-up showers or thunderstorms. And here's a summary graphic of the next 14 days. High temperatures, low temperatures, put the normal lines on there, and you can see we go from near normal to a little bit below normal on the high side, and then we make it to above normal as we head past the 27th of the month into the 1st of August. Low temperatures go from below to a little bit above to about normal. So over the next 14 days, more than likely our temperature is going to average out not far from normal with a little bit of a warming trend, and precipitation near normal. Most of that precipitation contributed by pop-up showers and thunderstorms, the kind you can't count on. Okay, let me go ahead and see what we've got going on Facebook here, see if anybody's got any questions or comments. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Start off at the top. Melvin Stone Street. Hi, Melvin. He said he knows it's going to be nice out there. Yeah, it is. It really is. Sarah C. Nicole, hello to you. Thanks for watching. Chris Mortal, I guess that's how you pronounce it. He grew up in Cincinnati. He's been in Connecticut since 2003. And he says I'm the go-to guy for weather and the science behind it. Well, I try hard, Chris. And thanks for watching from Connecticut. Hope you get a chance to come back this way occasionally. And because I don't think they have Skyline chili in Connecticut. And if you like Skyline, you know where to go. We'll come right back home. Kane Silver says, hey. Hello, Kane. And Claudette Jacobs says, thanks for the weather forecast. Jeff Beechler, it feels great out today, LOL. I knew he was going to say that. LOL, I hope you're having a great evening. Oh, still no snow, though. Jeff, eventually we're going to get to the point, hopefully, that sometime in the future, in the winter, we're going to talk about snow, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, would you please shut it off or something? Too much snow. All right, so that was Jeff Beechler. Chelsea Martin says, hi. Hello, Chelsea. Hope you're doing okay. And that's about it in the comments. Okay, so I tell you what, I guess this is going to be a shorter one today. Let's see. Let me see if I've got the drought, because the drought monitor came through today. And you know, I've been complaining about the drought monitor not really talking about adequately how dry it is to our south and east. I mean, it had all of Lewis County, most of Adams, Southern Highland, most of Brown, all the way down into Mason is like near normal precipitation. And all I hear from people down there is it's so dry they can't stand it and their farm ponds are drying up. So I think they finally got a little bit better data in here, and I'm just trying to find my graphic of it. And it's changed a little bit. Now, we did have some rain more in many areas, not all areas, and so some spots have gotten better. Okay, you know what? They put a search engine in this computer, so I might as well just use it. So Okay, now I don't know if I have to update this or not. I'll try. Okay, load the drought monitor. And let's see. It'll come up behind me any second, and I'll zoom in a little bit. Right, let's... Okay, there it is, full screen for you. Okay, so this is the latest drought monitor, and finally, I've been hearing from people down in Bracken, Robertson, Mason, Lewis, Adams, Brown, Highland counties that it's been dry. And up to now, the drought monitor, now this is done in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the agricultural meteorologists and climatologists there keep track of this. And so look at Fayette. So let's take a look at Fayette and Union counties here. I'll go to this side because I'm on this camera. So Fayette and Union counties, Connorsville, Liberty, a good portion of the northwest Franklin County had quite a bit of rain lately, and so they're about normal. That's what the gray shade means. There was quite a bit of rain from Carroll and Owen over into a good portion of Grant and Pendleton counties into a little bit of Bracken, and so they're about normal. But finally, look at this. Okay, now the color code up here abnormally dry is the yellow. When you get to moderate drought, that is this color right here. So Robertson County, Mount Olivet, is now it says it's in moderate drought, and just last week they had it in normal. And so there was some problem with the data, and then Ethan and Emery and I look at this in a lot of detail all the time, and we're looking at the rainfall amounts based on radar, and we're saying there's just no way that that's right. So it looks like they've caught up with they still aren't near normal out around Ironton. But look at this, okay, so you've got moderate drought in northeastern part of Butler County, the far northern part of Warren. So if you're up in, far northern Warren County, you definitely have Waynesville, for example. It's very dry. Same thing with the far northern part of Clinton County. And then when you get up here, okay, this is heading up near Columbus. It's out of our viewing area. You've got severe drought up that way. Okay? And so now they've got Lewis, Adams, Highland, Brown, Mason counties all in abnormally dry. So they're beginning to catch up, and something's looking... it's not that the weather's looking better, but it's looking like their mapping of the data is looking better. And it's much more consistent with what we have observed over our viewing area. So that's what that's about. So we're still looking, and tomorrow we'll talk more about the forecast for the next 4 weeks, excuse me. And we'll look at this again, the drought monitor again. We'll compare it to what the models are saying that go out 4 weeks. And so that would put us, this is as of Tuesday's data, so that 4 weeks would put us into September. So, late August, I guess, almost September. So we'll look at that in more detail during the day tomorrow. Okay, let me check Facebook again. Then I'll go over the 7-day forecast, and we'll be done. All right, let's see. Neil Oberding II, he's ready for sweats and hoodie weather. My favorite. I like weather. I like all kinds of weather. But if I had to pick, it wouldn't be bitterly cold. It wouldn't be even warm. It'd be kind of with a chill just enough for sweats and a hoodie. I'm with you, Neil. Judith Ann Heaton. She said, thanks for the show. You're welcome, Judith Ann. I hope that you get some useful information from this. Christine Evans says hello. Jeff Beechler says, I love snow. We haven't had a good snow in a while. Well, yeah, we actually haven't. All last winter we didn't have much snow at all because of the El Nino winter. So maybe we'll have more next year because it looks like it's going to be a La Nina winter, and that's usually more active precipitation-wise. Tracy Jones says she watches the morning show every day. She loves us. Well, thank you very much, Tracy. We do our best to make sure you stay informed. Nick Fisher, I'm viewing from Cleveland area. He loves the weather show. They also have a severe drought up here. When the rain comes, it always goes south of Akron or above Lake Erie. Do you see this trend changing eventually? You know, what will typically happen is that trend will change when we get into the fall and we start getting more winter-like storms. I don't mean winter snowstorms, but the type that cover the entire state. So probably not in the next few weeks, but that doesn't mean you won't get any rain at all. And I tell you what, let me go back up here. He just mentioned, he's watching from Cleveland, that's Nick Fisher. If I zoom back out here, and here we go. I don't know why, and sorry, Nick, Cleveland is not on here for some reason. And we'll take a look at this full screen in just a second. Jeez, I've got so many security things popping up here. Okay, look at it full screen, first of all. And you can see that from Mansfield, Akron is right in the middle of a big severe drought area, or moderate drought area. And so if we look at it here, I don't know why Cleveland's not on here. Cleveland's right in here. Here's Akron. Here's Mansfield. This is Lake Erie, of course. And so you can see a large area of moderate drought right up here. And it's very, very dry. And as Nick mentioned, it seems like the rain goes south or the rain goes north of the lake, and they're just left high and dry. And I don't see any big change in that. It could change, but we're probably going to really, for a series of soaking rains, we're probably going to have to wait until the winter type storms or cool season type storms begin to develop. Okay, and then that is it. So let me go back to the 7-day forecast. We'll go over that again and beyond the 7-day, and we will call it a day today. All right, so here comes the 7-day forecast. Okay, and as soon as it pops up behind me full screen, I'll take it full screen for you. Okay, here we go. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 7-day forecast. And we've got a low tonight in Cincinnati of 57, a high of 82. Mostly sunny and mild. Now remember, because cold air, the ground cools the air at night, on a night when there's not a lot of other stuff going on. So the coldest air typically is right in contact with the ground. That's also more dense, so just like water flowing downhill, the denser air flows downhill and pools in the valleys. And so on a night like we're going to have tonight, we will have some of that pooling in the valleys, and some valley areas may make it down to 51 or 52 for a short time tomorrow morning. 82 the high tomorrow, the humidity stays nice. Nice humidity again Saturday and Sunday. 86 the high on Saturday, 87 on Sunday. And then on Monday, the humidity comes back. So here are those graphs I showed you earlier. They're worth seeing again. Okay. Here's the dew point temperatures for Friday and Saturday in the 50s, with the exception of 8 p.m. on Saturday, when we begin to see a little bit more humidity in the area, but really not much. Okay, and then Sunday and Monday look like days that are going to see some change. Sunday, we've got 50s all day long, and notice they get a little bit lower in the afternoon because those thermals are transporting the moist air at the surface up into the atmosphere. And then on Monday, what we have is the dew point temperature rising and making it to just the steamy, sultry levels by the end of the day. Okay, and then with that humidity on Monday, it continues Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Each day with highs in the 80s, we've got the chance of some of those pop-up showers. And unfortunately, for those of us that need the rain, those pop-up showers you get in the summer are the kind you really can't count on. You just may be lucky and have one pass over your place or your farm and get some of the rain you need. Then beyond the 7-day forecast goes out to the 1st of August now. We've got highs in the 80s, lows in the 60s to lower 70s on the humid side, and each one of those 7 days there's that chance of a pop-up shower around the area. And here's the summary graphic once again. High temps, low temps, the normal high and low lines, and you can see that we do have a warming trend, and it'll eventually take us back to warmer than normal weather as we head toward the 1st of August. So that's it for now. Thank you once again for joining me. It was, well, one of those days when there's not a lot of weather going on and something good to say instead of something bad to say. And then for tomorrow, we'll take a look at that drought monitor that I just showed you once again, and we'll take a look at what the medium range climate forecast models, the ones that go out 4 weeks are saying about the chance of getting more of a moist weather pattern as we head toward the harvest season around the tri-state. So that's it. Thanks for joining me. Have yourself a nice night, and I hope to be able to talk to you once again